I have hundreds of thousands of dollars already, and I am just 30 years old, and we're going to have hundreds of millions in my lifetime. I want to share with you 10 habits that are making me a young millionaire. I do have a part 1 if you want to check that out. Otherwise, let's get into the video. And if you want more videos on mastering your money, your mindset, your habits, your emotions, and becoming happier and more successful, feel free to hit subscribe. You have to invest in yourself. You are your greatest asset. You are your greatest advantage in life, and you have all the potential you need to create whatever life you want. Yes, we want to invest in the stock market and buy houses and properties and things of that nature. But actually, you can't do any of that, or that's not going to help you if you don't do the work on you and if you don't build yourself, because you are your greatest asset. Everything you do flows from you. And what is going on inside of you is a direct reflection of what's going on outside of you. So if you do the work on here, you're going to have more money on the outside. And when I started investing in myself and treating myself like an asset, things changed. Not only did my financial life change, but how I actually felt. I felt so much better. I was always in great shape growing up and felt good and healthy and all of those things. But eventually I wasn't taking as good of care of myself, and I started not feeling as good. And I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the motivation. I wasn't being my best self. And so if you're not in performance mode, high performance mode, if you're not ready to go, if you're not taking action, if you're not eating healthy and doing all the right things, you're not going to have energy to make money. You're not going to have energy to provide value. You're not going to have energy or the desire to build something, right? Or if you're worried about all this past stuff or your insecurities or all the stuff on the inside, how are you going to have the energy and the focus? It takes focus on one course until successful in order to build something. So you got to do the inner work. You got to treat yourself like an asset, because you will never go further than where you are. So if you're here, you're going to go here. If you're here, you can go here. So let's expand and get bigger so you can go further. So passionate about this. Starting businesses or having a business is a great way to build wealth. And you want to build a business that talks about it in the Millionaire Fastlane. I have a video or 2 videos actually talking more about principles from the Millionaire Fastlane. I highly recommend it. It's a super thick book, so you can check it out on Amazon or check out my reviews and the information. But guys, that is how you get rich faster. It's not just about investing in the stock market. It's not just living below your means. You got to do a little bit more, right? And businesses, even though they're hard and they're not as easy to do, it can bring you more money. If you sell a book, you sell a product or a service, or even the Sweat app like Kayla Itsinas and Toby Pierce did. She's a personal trainer, and she figured out how to provide that value and create that service for somebody. And they had 30 million users, and it was $24.99 a month for a subscription. They had sales and stuff, but still, that's a ton of money. And they just provided value. So there's so much power in business or creating something. You're going to have a lot more potential. Yes, you can be a millionaire as an employee, and there is a cash flow quadrant, which I could talk more about. It's in Rich Dad Poor Dad video on that coming soon. But you want to be more of an owner of a business, a creator, or an investor. That's where you get richer. Build a business, consider it. Eating and nutrition is very personal. There's very structured principles. I teach health and PE, and we talk about proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and the macronutrients and all of that stuff. And you want to be very careful, because eating can be a very sensitive topic, and a lot of people can have problems with eating in many ways, with overeating, but also undereating. So I want to tread carefully, but I eat a lot of whole foods, and also the more fruit and smoothies and well-rounded smoothies with protein, carbohydrates, and fat that I eat in the morning, the more energy I have. And that's just what works for me, but it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. I used to have energy crashes. I used to be like addicted to sugar. I'm going to do a video on how I quit my sugar addiction. And I do agree and think that some people can handle it, and they could eat a little bit of Sour Patch Kids and they're fine and have balance. But for me, it just did not work. I'm a very intense, like all in, all out type person. And so having more fruit, it gave me that energy and that sugar I was craving, but it made me feel very stable and calm and energized. I don't have caffeine. I haven't had it in, 5, 6, 7 years. I haven't had that either. And so I could do a video if you're interested on that, let me know below. But It makes a huge difference. I have more energy when I'm eating a certain way, and you spend a ton of your energy on digesting. And so figure out a way that works for you. I'm not saying you have to go eat fruit or smoothies or things like that. Maybe a little bit would help, but figure out a way of eating that works for you, that gives you energy. Because if you have a big goal, if you have big dreams, if you want to start your business, if you want to show up, you have a lot going on. I have a full-time job and my stepson and my son and my husband and myself and fitness and my kids at work and all these things and business and YouTube and books. You got to have energy for it. So it's huge. Mentors, social media. I love social media. I understand that we're on our phones for like 8, 9, 10 hours a day, depending on the person, and that social media can be used to make you feel bad about yourself and poor self-image. But if it's used correctly, it can help you. I've used social media in ways that have not helped me, but I started using social media in a way that did help me. And I started learning from people who were sharing about their financial education journey, who were sharing about their health journeys, who were sharing about how they parent, things like that. Anything that I was interested in, I went and learned about it. And then I benefited and I applied those things and tried them, ran experiments in my own life, and I figured out what works and what resonates with me. And I was like, thank you so much. Or guys, we have access to billionaires, to multimillionaires, to the healthiest people and the fittest people and the best personal trainers on the planet. We have free access to these people and their thoughts and their thinking. I'm not saying that you need to be a billionaire. Let's just follow all the billionaires. They're the people we need to follow for how to live a perfect life or how to live the best life. That's not necessarily the case. But go listen to people. If you grew up in the middle of nowhere, I lived in a no stoplight town for a little bit. I didn't grow up in a no stoplight town, but I was living there. And the other side of town, there's not billionaires there, millionaires there. There's even not tons of healthy people there or people I wanted to aspire and be like. And so go find them. Use your phone. Use this thing. It is there as a tool if you use it correctly, right? A lot of things, it can be good or bad depending on how you use it. Use it for good. My life would not be the same without this. My dad always would be like, Elizabeth, you're on your phone so much. Why are you on your phone so much? I'm like, Dad, it's changing my life. It's changed my life. Use it. You got to think rich. I didn't realize how much I was holding myself back in many ways. And you grow up a certain way. You have a certain biology. You also have your parents that influence you, the people that you interact with and what you see in the world. That influences how you think. And so rich people, wealthy people are just people, but they think differently. They act differently. That's why I talk about the habits, because what are you doing? What are you doing? How do you know how to make money? How are you thinking? How are you letting your emotions run you or not run you? It's a really big mental game, an emotional game. And so the more you can master your mind, master how you think, and change the way you think and train it. Sarah Blakely, I talk about her a lot, but she's a huge inspiration to me as an entrepreneur and as a woman in life. And she said no one taught her how to think until she started listening to Wayne Dyer. There was a series of unfortunate events that happened, and she witnessed her best friend being run over by a car when she was 16, and then her mom and dad got divorced around that time, and there was a lot of stuff, and she was just a mess. And her dad gave her these tapes that were helping him in his life. And she just was so desperate, she started listening to it and listened to it in the car. And again, that's where the power of who you have around you and what you have going into your mind. She would listen to it, the cassette tapes in her car instead of music, right? I find music can affect me too. I don't listen to some of these countries, let me drink and let me this. I listen to some country, I'm not Xing the country, but if you're just talking about relationships in a negative way, or you're sad, or it affects you. So be careful what you listen to, just a little aside. I'm really intentional with that. And I use things to make me feel good most of the time. But these cassette tapes changed her life, taught her how to think. You got to figure out how to think. And if you're looking for a video on this, it should be coming soon, but Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, if it's not out already, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, great book recommendation. If my review's not out, please order the book on Amazon. It's so worth it. Dan Martell recommended it to me. He's going to be a billionaire in his lifetime. And totally changes the way you think. And it's really well written, like really succinct and clear. I love that. It's like some books are just like too much. It's not that they're like long. It's just, it's not very organized or it's not very succinct, but it's very structured and really is easy to follow. Check it out. Going along with this is your emotional intelligence. So I learned a lot about this, and I started learning about self-awareness, which is an aspect of emotional intelligence in college. And I took a lot of courses like family relationships and human development, sociology, psychology courses, and we learned about that. And so the more aware you are of yourself, it can really help you in your life. The more you understand your emotions, why are you thinking what you're thinking? Do you even notice that you're getting mad or jealous or insecure or envious or whatever it is? Do you notice? And then what do you do with that? Can you manage? Can you self-regulate? And then can you understand the emotions of others? Can you understand what they need? This is really helpful if you're trying to serve someone, a customer, someone, or even just in general life and relationships. Life is about relationships. And so the more you can be aware and intelligent with yourself and how you're operating, and then how others are operating, and then what to do about it, the better off you will be. And then managing those emotions, because if you are trying to build something, or if you see the stock market go down, like knowing basic principles and knowing the information can help. Like, hey, it goes up and down, but it averages over time. Okay, I don't need to worry that it's down 30% today. It's okay. Ride the storm, keep going, hold that baby, a concept I talk about in my investing ebook. Hold the baby. Don't put down a screaming baby, just hold him, help him feel better. Eventually it'll feel better, but it's a tool. And mastering the emotions, like a lot of times it's our mindset that gets in the way, and then our emotions, how we're experiencing life, or the poor habits that we have. That's why I talk about them so much. Be a producer, okay? You don't have to be a movie producer, but you don't want to just consume, okay? Right? We think about the average American, or what do? We're on our phones all day consuming information. We're watching TV, we're watching Netflix. We're consuming. We need to create. If we want to be millionaires, even if you aren't starting a business, you are creating value at your job. And so you can get promotions, so you can serve your clients and customers or people you work with, so you can do better, have higher roles, better roles, or so you can stay at your current job. You have to be good at that. But producing, number one, this has been the biggest game changer for my happiness. I realized like my brain, I just always thinking like, I talk about it. It could be an asset for me, but it also can be my Achilles heel. A lot of times one of our greatest strengths, or our greatest strength, can be both your asset and something that could be your detriment, your Achilles heel. And so I felt so much happier when I started creating, using my like desire to learn and to help people and encourage people, like, and create something. I learn about it, and I've gathered all this information and solve problems in my own life, or I just do the research, and then I'm like, how can I create something and do it in a way that I would have liked to receive that information? Or, hey, how can I just share information or encourage someone today and create something into this world? I feel so much happier. So it could be a happiness hack. That's not what the video is about, but hey, I'm all about that on this channel. And then knowing that when you produce, you can get more back, right? But you're giving value out. Create things. You're not going to get anything or get more money if you're not creating and being someone who provides value. I'm a huge optimizer. Love being efficient. I really dislike inefficiency. I'm not perfect at this. I'm not always super efficient, but I really try to be, like, even structuring how we're going to a place, like where to go first, how to go into the store and be fast and be quick and efficient. And so optimizing, there's so many things, or even food. We spend hours making meals sometimes. I never do that. And maybe that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful gift if you love to cook and spend all this time. But for me and with my life, that is not something I want to spend all the time and energy on, at least right now. And so where can you cut out those things or optimize, or say, hey, you really like this, or like my husband knows I'm working on certain goals, and so he's willing to do some of the things, like a couple tasks that it's not going to help with what we're trying to do. And he's like, hey, I'll go run that errand. Cool. I got it. Like, I don't mind doing that. Right? Or you could hire people. We've paid people to do certain things for us or for myself, and it makes a difference. So where can you optimize, and not with cutting things out or outsourcing things, but also just making things simple for you, right? I even had a really simple wardrobe for a really long time. I'm starting to build it back up, but it was just easy. Here's the shirt I like. I have 5 of this. just put it on, right? Make it easy. Life, there's so many things where you make so many decisions. How can you make it simpler for you? Another part of this equation is that a lot of wealthy people, they set an hourly rate for themselves. Like, hey, I'm worth $100 an hour. I'm worth $5,000 an hour. And so don't go drive across town to save $3. Don't go drive an hour to save $3. Maybe you're in the stage of your life where that's the path you chose. And I know we did that a ton. But now I'm realizing, no, it's not worth my time, because my time can be used to create things or to do whatever that's going to be helpful in my life. So decide an hourly rate for yourself and kind of determine, should I outsource this? Is this worth my time and energy? Or how can I make whatever situation easier, simpler, more time efficient and productive? Remember that you're in control. And so I took control, right? I realized I had a lot of success as a young person and growing up, and I had an amazing family that took care of me and helped me, and they helped run things too, so that I could pour into the things that I cared about in my sports and extracurriculars and really thrive. But when I became an adult and learning and figuring all this stuff out, I struggled a little bit with it, or a lot of it at times. And I'm okay saying that, because it was a learning curve, it was adjustment. But I eventually said, I have to take control. I do not want to feel super sad. I don't want to feel super stressed. I don't want to feel these feelings. It's going to happen sometimes in life, but I'm never going to say it is what it is. It might be what it is right now, but I'm going to change it. I'm not going to accept that I just feel miserable. I'm not going to accept that I feel so overwhelmed and stressed and this is too much. I'm not going to accept that. That's not who I am. I know who I am. Right in there is being covered up by all the stress and pressure and insecurity and whatever it was. And so I had to figure it out. You are in control. And so if you want to be wealthy, if you want to be anything, if you want to be happy, full of purpose, whatever, you have to do something about it. No one is going to save you except you. There's people that will help you and angels along the way, but you have to be the one to decide. You have to be the one to change your habits. You have to be the one to fix yourself. You have to be the one to do the inner work on yourself. You have to be the one to learn and to read and explore. You have to be the one. So be the one. Do the work. It is so worth it. It is hard, but it was harder. It was harder being in pain. It was harder struggling and being stressed and anxious and sad. That's harder. That is not as fun. So do the hard work so you can live an easier life and live a better life. There's still going to be hard things that come up, but it's a different type of hard. I don't want that hard for you. Phew, I'm getting fired up. I love this stuff. Do things that you love. That is a bonus tip to throw in there. Do what you love, help what you love, find a person, find a mission, find something and pour into it. Matters so much. So much. I just think of the person who's just struggling or is just sitting there and miserable or anxious or sad. And it's you can change that. You don't have to be like that. That is not you. And whatever environment I'm thinking of, even that house we were in. I mean, it was a nice house, whatever. But I was the same person and I felt stuck in that. And I know you might feel stuck, but you can get out. You can. Start surrounding yourself. Go on your phone if that takes you away. Don't do it to mindlessly distract yourself. Do it to help you get better and be around the people. If you're not around good people, go get around good people by being online and getting that support and getting that into your head. You can change. I have changed. I was thriving as a child and as a youth and in teens and all that stuff. And then I started doing okay, but not doing so great. And then thrived again, right? Because I did the work, because I decided, and I was not going to settle for the life that I was living. I was not going to settle for the feelings I was feeling. I was not going to settle. And I knew that I had something in me. We all have things in me. You have something in you that you can get out. And whatever block you're blocking yourself with, we don't have any more time for that. It is time to change. The time to change is now. And lastly, belief. Knowing that you can. Think and Grow Rich talks about this. But anything, faith, belief. How, our high school motto, we believe, I believe. We believe. You got to believe. I'm going to do videos on this because even with YouTube, I'm like, I know I feel called to do this. I know God said, Elizabeth, you need to do this. You need to put yourself online. You need to start helping people. You need to start sharing. You need to do this. And I'm like, well, is this working? Am I helping people? Is it really making an impact? Some videos like don't do well and some do, but it's like, seems like it helps, but then it doesn't seem like it helps. And it's like, there's all this self-doubt and all this stuff that comes up, but you got to believe. You have to believe you can be the millionaire. You have to believe that you could be a multimillionaire. You have to believe that you can change your habits. You have to believe that you can be different and that you can be the one. Ed Milet talks about the one in your family that changes the whole trajectory of your family tree and of your life and can impact millions of people. Like I was like, I had it. I lost some of it and I had to get it again and got it even stronger. My family, they believed in me and they invested in me and they did all this stuff for me. I'm not going to let that be wasted. I hope this video is helpful. Sorry, I got a little intense, but I'm so passionate about this. If you haven't checked out part 1, check out part 1 or check out this video on how I'm going to be a millionaire soon.